Yeah, the only thing's got that spot is that it's on a full road. But yeah, I mean, we only go by what we see. We only go out there.
Don't even need to look. Don't even need to look down there. Just
No.
go to aisle 8.
We just go down to aisle 8.
Welcome to Scotch with Bob and Matt.
Hi, I'm Bob, and we're here at Luekens Wines and Spirits store on Main Street in downtown Dunedin.
And I'm Matt. We're going to try a new whiskey this evening, the single malt from Glenmorangie, A Winter's Tale.
Well, Glenmorangie is one of my favorite Highland distilleries, and it's actually pronounced with the emphasis on the second syllable, Glenmorangie, and it comes from the Gaelic Glenmorangie, and it means the Vale of Tranquility.
Has nothing to do with Darth Sidious or any of those things. And the reason we're going to do our tasting notes tonight is because there really aren't a lot when a new whiskey comes out. You don't have a place you can go and read about them. You don't have other opinions to draw on. So we try to taste these and do it on our own.
Well, I always try to go to other people that have tasted the scotches when I do a tasting. I like to go to the Scotch Snob, the Whiskey Exchange, Whiskey Advocate blog, and they all come out with some very good thoughts on the tasting notes and everything that I try to incorporate. So we get some accurate information about the scotch.
Or at least gives you a guide for some place to start when you're tasting these. So now we're going to do our own by tasting this one.
Well, now Glenmorangie, my opinion is that they do some interesting releases of single malt scotches. They've done the Nectar d'Or and the Signet, and they have a luscious 18-year-old. So we're going to try this one now. It's kind of new, and this was picked by my wife. She was insistent that we try this one, and it was really easy when I sent her a picture from Luekens, and I got the thumbs up to buy it. So here we are tonight, and we're going to try it.
It's always nice to get the thumbs up. However, that was at 10:30 in the morning when we purchased that at Luekens, and then we went back to Bob's house and decided to taste it then. We're sure that it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Well, going back home, we read a little bit about the new release from Glenmorangie. The Glenmorangie director of their whiskey, Bill Lumsden, I think, said that he was snowed in and he wanted to develop a scotch that was a little bit more of the wintry taste of sitting by a fire, wrapped up in blankets, and forgetting about the world outside. So we're going to try this one that has a rich wintry aroma, and it's finished as a 13-year-old scotch that they finished in a Marsala wine cask.
Which is why when we first tasted this, I didn't recognize what that tasting note was because I had never had a Marsala wine finish before.
Yes. Well, as we do with most of our scotches, we spend a lot of time when they're in the glass. We're looking at the color and the legs they form. The legs are always a little indication of the age of the scotch. If you swirl it around and you look at the little drips running down the glass, those are the legs. And if their legs are flowing fast back to the bottom, well, that's showing you it's kind of a young scotch, like a good little young sprinter in the Olympics.
Like our roadie Matt.
Yes, and if the legs are a little bit long and slow, they're more like me when I run. So we're here taking a look at this, and Glenmorangie, as you can see, has a nice amber quality to it. And as we nose this,
I'm drinking it too.
yes, the nose is curiously slightly sharp, but it has that classic Marsala taste to it, or nose to it. There's some hints of toffee, a little orange toffee, a little honey.
Definitely got
They say there's some lavender and sweet rose in here. It's very flowery, but I couldn't pick those two out.
I don't get those either.
And if you put a little water to it, you'll get some caramelized fruits, some pears, along with a hint of the sandalwood, and some Brazil nuts. And I got some pine sap. And actually, my wife is the one that pointed out that she got the pine sap almost on her first nosing.
And I don't like caramelized fruits enough to add any water to my whiskey. That would be Dave making noise in the back.
Yep. The sharp nose I get is more spicy than medicine.
Definitely.
Yeah, there's a lot of wine in there, a lot of flowery wine notes. There's a full toffee scent in there, and I love the nuttiness that comes through.
Yeah, it's also very, very complex. There's lots in here. And this is different even than the last time I tasted this. I'm getting some other things in here.
Now, one thing with Scotch is there's an old formula that goes the age of the Scotch should equal a minute in the glass. So if you get an 18-year-old Scotch or a 13-year-old like this, we should pour it in our glasses and let it sit for 13 minutes. I don't know about you, but that's impossible.
That's really hard. That's really hard. But you do the best you can. Pour it, walk away.
Now we'll go on to the tasting of it. Glenmorangie said that it's thick and rich. There's some peppery mouthfeel to it.
Got a nice
There's a
mouth.
burst of sweet nuttiness in there. Cocoa powder, red pepper, Brazil nuts and toffee, and a sweet barley malt. That's coming from Glenmorangie. They also mentioned that there's some Demerara sugar in there.
It is sweet. It is very sweet. It's a very, I mean, this is delicious. I don't know about the cocoa powder.
But as soon as you taste it, you do get all those little flavors in there rolling around in your mouth. And you get the sweet, nutty flavors and the delicious toffee. The barley malt comes through. The barley malt comes through on the end. And I really like this one.
Yeah, I think it's quite tasty. The what Bob was talking about with the mouthfeel. You roll this around on your tongue. It's very viscous. Really, really very nice in your mouth. It's got a good flavor. Bob does better with tasting notes, and he's done it for 22 years. I know that I like it or I don't like it. I'm working on the tasting notes.
How do you like the end? The finish?
It is fantastic.
It's got a nice, it reminds me of Christmas cookies. It's got a lot of ginger and cinnamon in it. And it's really tasty. And it's very long and warm and just warms you up all the way down. Excellent little dram.
And again, I do get the cinnamon. I don't get ginger out of this one. But I mean, every palate is different.
So we've really enjoyed this one. As you can see, our bottle is almost gone. So we've been sampling this for a couple of days now.
Bunch of couple days, yeah.
And a bunch tonight too. So you can get this at Luekens, hopefully, and it's a great stocking stuffer.
$99. It was a good buy, even at 10:30 in the morning, and that's all right.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our tasting tonight, and we're going to be sending more around as we move around Dunedin.
And don't forget, watch on the on Facebook for the whiskey tastings presented by the Dunedin New World Celts. We have a whiskey tasting coming up January 29th. It's the Pete Whiskey Tasting. Only got 7 tickets left. And then the spring tasting coming up at the Dunedin Golf Club on March 26th. Make sure you attend that one.
Well, good night now, and I hope you enjoyed this video.
Sponsor Bob.